not sure whether this is considered a confidential information, but what is the percentage based on your average P&L? What is the percentage
The returns,
of a net?
is it?
Yeah.
Well, average returns can be between 15 to 20%.
Okay.
Yes, so it would be quite lucrative for possibly an entrepreneur. I mean, but again, having said that, there's always a break-even point. I'm sure that you know in any industry there's a break-even point. And for most shops, let's say generic shops, the average break-even point is around about 90 to 100,000 ringgit. So anything above the break-even point, you can expect about 50 to 60% margins.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting.
It is.
We should look at the numbers closer next time. One of the things also, generally there are, let's call it rumors, or maybe comments from different individuals. You were saying that some of your concept could range even above 1 million. There are people making some comments saying that, Old Town White Coffee is quite an expensive concept, How do you actually, justify that?
It really depends on how you define expensive or not. You see, at the end of the day, I mean, as an investor, what you're looking for are returns. It is not how much you put into the business, but how much you're going to get back.
It's true.
Yeah. So, well, you can run a concept like a kiosk, which probably, as I said, is about 300 to 400,000, low return. Low investment. But ultimately, the returns may also be low. Now you put in a $1 to $1.5 million investment, then you get higher returns.
Yes, it's true.
So it's not a matter of how much you are going to pay for a franchise, but ultimately, does it meet your expectations in terms of getting the kind of returns that you want?
It's true, that's right. I think in business, that's what everyone says. The more you invest, the more you get back. Yeah, you reap more in a way.
Yes.
But based on your investment that you were talking about just now, what does it include? Does it include the franchise fee and the whole setup cost with equipments and everything?
What I've mentioned to you earlier in terms of 300 to 400,000 for the kiosks, 8 to 1 million for the generic shops, and also 1 million to 1.2 would include the capital expenditure, the fees that are payable, the royalties, the franchise fees, and so on and so forth, the training cost, your equipment costs.
Alright.
So basically, it's a total setup cost.
Okay.
Excluding any rental deposits.
All right. Okay. Yes. What about the operation, as in the products that they are going to actually, the inventories and all those things? Is it part of that amount?
It is part of the setup because we do collect an inventory deposit.
I see.
Yes. So it will be an initial inventory that you would actually be given for you to start up the business itself. But then again, inventory is always recurring. So it's always on a replenishment basis.
That's right. Okay, so it looks like, it's something being justified here. I think I agree with you. A lot of entrepreneurs will actually have the tendency not to think about, those inventory or the operation costs and things like that, and they just jump to the conclusion sometimes. So in a way, when you're dealing with franchisee, there are always some issues here and there, What are your common issues with, franchisees that you face?
A lot of franchisees come in with the notion that it is a guaranteed business. Okay, and I try, together with the team itself, we try and dispel this kind of a notion, because we would talk to a franchise operator or a potential franchisee on the reality of the business itself. Look, restaurant business is not a short-term business. It is something that is actually built up over a period of time, because you build up a relationship with your customers, you build up a relationship with your employees. Okay. Now, some of them come in with the notion that, hey, I can get back my return of investment in a very short period. So we would actually run through the numbers with each and every one of them and tell them, look, are you comfortable with this kind of a pro forma, this kind of a platform? Are you willing to actually slog the 18-hour shifts that sometimes you have to put in? We are running a restaurant business, and basically we start from 8 in the morning. Some of our shops operate until as late as about 1 or 2 a.m. So it really depends. And we also go through with them on the realities of selecting locations. Okay, we also go through with them on the realities of employees who are sometimes unpredictable. Okay, and we also go through the realities with them on what happens if employees don't show up. You got to roll up your sleeves and actually get your hands dirty. So these are the things that a lot of potential franchisees are probably not aware about. So the way that we actually do it at Old Town is the fact that we tell them the reality of the situation. You know, we don't hold back. And more often than not, I take it upon myself to be as negative as I can
I understand.
dealing with a
yes.
franchise operator, because I would like them to be realistic. Okay, I would like them to know what to expect at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
that's right.
And one other thing, I also always tell my franchise operators, it is not to frighten them away, but whatever that you invest, are you in a position to actually lose that money? Because in business, in a franchise system, we don't guarantee success. What we guarantee you is a tested system, okay? We guarantee you that the use of our brand name, our trademark, okay, but we cannot guarantee you success.
It's
So
true.
there's always an element of risk involved. Yeah.
Yes, I think maybe some other franchisors or entrepreneurs out there that is really, you know, wanting to grow robustly in this industry do highlight, you know, the sense that a franchise system can help you to eliminate failure, but it doesn't. It might reduce the risk, but yet there is still
You're
a
right.
chance
You're right,
of
yes.
failing if things are not managed
Yes.
properly.
There are many reasons why franchise can fail. I mean, one of the most common reasons is, of course, the choice of locations.
Yes,
In as
it's
much as
true.
we do our retail trade zone studies, changes in trade profile. Okay, I mean, you know, in Malaysia or in any country, there can be construction going on, and
Yes,
suddenly
yeah,
it just
right.
changes your whole trade profile.
Yes.
So those are occasions
true.
that there will be potential risks.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that is the most common reason when one popular location suddenly, you know, you see it going down in a few years down the road, just
True,
simply
true.
because a bigger mall came up and things like that.
That's right.
So that does happen. But in the sense that you want to ensure that you have the right relationship with the franchisee, do you have any special criteria in selecting your franchisees?
Oh, we do. I think our selection process actually has several levels. Of course, we have our preliminary level where they actually submit their application forms, a business plan. We also actually do a credit check on all our.
Okay.
We are not as efficient as probably as the bank, but we do have
Yes.
access to certain credit checks
Okay.
with them. Then the second level would come to an interview with the potential franchisees, as I mentioned earlier, where we actually probably try and scare them out of taking the franchise. Okay, but ultimately we take it up to the next level where the board of directors basically review the whole qualification criteria for the franchise operator before we actually decide to approve them.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
So you go through quite a lengthy process
It
before
does.
you.
From the time a franchisee puts in an application until the time it gets approved, it could be anywhere between 3 to 6 months.
Wow. Okay. 3 to
Yes.
6 months period.
And then, of course, there's always the issue on locations. Yeah, because some franchise operators actually come to us with locations. And so we have two parameters to
I
evaluate
see.
the location
I
and to
see.
evaluate their suitability as a franchisee. We also
Okay.
have a psychometric analysis
right.
done on all
That's-
franchise operators to see whether they are basically in the right frame of mind to
Yes.
run the business.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah. But I'm sure in this kind of situation, even though you have went through the most tedious process to make sure that you select the right franchisee, there might be still time that you end up in certain clashes with them. Is there any issues, you know, that you...
Well, I think in terms of mitigating expectations of a franchisee, the most important criteria is to make sure that they make money.
Yes.
Okay, because if they do make money, then I think issues like compliance is never an issue in the first
Okay.
place. So our job as a franchisor or the owner of the brand is to ensure that we support each and every franchisee to the best of our ability to make sure that they are successful. We have a big team of franchise consultants who are actually there
Okay.
and to guide them.
I
Okay,
see.
of course, our first level is our franchise manager who basically takes them through the whole program itself. We also have training programs that we conduct very frequently. We call the franchise operators back, all in the effort to actually upgrade them and make sure that they don't fail. Okay, we try our best.
Okay.
Basically, yeah.
All right. Can I just find out before we finish off,
Sure.
looking at a concept like Old Town White Coffee and looking at running an outlet like this, what is the term of agreement that you will actually give to your franchisee?
On a domestic front, I mean, our franchise fees and royalties are all governed by the Malaysian Franchise Act. So our franchise fee for an outlet is 80,000.
Okay.
Our current franchise fee, outlet meaning a generic shop or a signature shop, is still 80,000.
All right.
Our kiosk is at 30,000. Okay. That is a one-time payment. Of course, the term that we give is a 5-year term for a generic shop, a 3-year term for a kiosk.
I see. Okay.
And it's renewal. It's renewable after 5-year and 3-year term, respectively. Yes.
Right.
There's a minimum amount of renewal fee that's actually involved. In terms of royalty payment, for a full-fledged generic shop, it's a 5% royalty, 3% advertising and promotional fee, and for a kiosk, it's 3% royalty payment and 2% advertising and promotional fee.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. I think we have come to the conclusion that this could be one of the business concept that a lot of opportunities still out there because you still have got numbers you want to meet.
I mean, I would like to also highlight the fact that we have raised white coffee in Peninsula Malaysia and Singapore, which allows us to actually move into a lot of areas where we previously have not gone. For example, the east coast of Peninsula Malaysia, like Kelantan, Terengganu, and the further north areas. Yes. So there's a huge potential for us to actually open up more shops.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Congratulations for your achievement.
Thank you very much, Sophia.
So we'll hope to catch up with you again in the near future and see how Old Town White Coffee is growing.
That'll be great.
Thank you.
I'll be more than happy to catch up with you again,
All right.
Sophia. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.